War. War never changes.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, to War Never Changes. We believe this is episode number 4, but in the sheer amount of preparation, which was Phil sending an email, very well thought out, me still sort of reading it now. We gotta go. We're ready to record. Who are we, by the way? My name is Jim. This is a smoking jacket. This is not a boxing jacket. This is a smoking jacket. This is a headband. This is beautiful, luscious hair with a matching beard. But enough about me. This guy over here, let me put my finger in the frame. This guy over here, the one, the only, 50 cal, Phil McCracken, live on location from parts unknown once again. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, my friend. How are you?
I am really glad my work day is over because everything was fine until about 2 hours ago. And
Yeah.
then somebody took a big poopy on the fan and it went everywhere. And I was just there, mouth agape, just taking it. So I have my favorite co-host here, this Cognac. And we're just going to sip on it casually until it stops hurting on the inside. And we'll see where things go from there.
Cognac question. Do you know what the VSOP sticker means on the side of the bottle?
Very super
Oh.
old pale.
No.
Very supreme old pale.
Very special by order of the prince.
See, it doesn't say special on this bottle. Or I can't read.
VSOP is like a rating system for cognac. And then there's like the super high-end stuff, which is always marked by XO.
So when I learned about the ways of cognac from my good friends on the Disney boat, the Disney cruise I went on with you, I didn't know you at the time. You were on that boat, dude. I was getting wrecked. I don't remember what deck. You were nearby. Maybe I did know you then. I don't remember what night it was.
Was it the very first day you went and did it?
The first day was wine tasting for sure. And then we
Then
had
you knew me.
Because I didn't know you. Yeah, I don't remember. I was like day 3 or 4 when I met you.
No, it was day 2.
Okay. What are we talking
Because I
about?
remember
Oh, go ahead.
I had my first dinner with some Germans, and then I had my second dinner with you. That's how I know.
All right, I believe you.
Wait,
I really
did a
think it was like night 3 or 4.
it was night 3 because and I did a private dinner together.
Listen.
I mean, person who doesn't have a name and I. Fuck. God damn it.
I will gladly edit her name out. Although
Thank
you have your own YouTube channel and she's on there pretty prominently.
Yeah, but we don't promote that here.
I do. No, I don't.
On this channel, we promote Viper Magic.
Listen, we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm going to read your email and go through all these topics with you. This is a very potpourri-esque show once again. But we both agreed it was good for our mental health to keep doing, so gosh darn it, we are here. First and foremost, I want to talk all about how crappy Xbox Gold is. My question for you, and you are the Xbox guy. I would say if there is a division, I am the PlayStation guy, you are the Xbox guy. Do you agree with that assessment, first of all?
No.
Horrible, horrible answer. For the sake of the show, Phil.
Yes, I'm the Xbox guy.
I love Xbox, just kidding.
Yay,
No,
that's
okay. In fairness, prior to PlayStation 5, you really didn't play PlayStation at all. Is that a fair assessment? Okay.
Between PS3 and PS5, my PlayStation was not utilized.
So you may be a recent PlayStation convert, potentially. But the reality is, a majority of your professional gaming career, if there is such a thing, was definitely spent on the side of the Xbox. Out of all those years and all the games with gold that came out, and there were a lot monthly. I don't remember when the program started, but I remember Assassin's Creed 2 was the first game. And games with gold's big hype was if you have gold, obviously, you would get a couple free games a month. The catch was they were yours forever. Unlike PlayStation, that you had to continue your PlayStation Plus subscription to keep the game active, Gold gave it to you one time and it was yours forever, whether or not you ever played it or whether or not you kept Gold or not.
Yeah, except,
However,
sorry, go ahead.
no. I was going to say, however, and then I'm going to take a drink and it's going to be all you. Most of those games, and I'm going to throw a percentage out there, 99% of them are absolute trash.
Up, more,
Carry on,
more,
sir. I pass
more.
it over to my other
Anyway,
co-host while I enjoy the first co-host. Go ahead.
that's what I was about to say, bro. That's what I was about to say. Anytime they give you a game with Gold, you know what it is? Phil Spencer takes a shit in his hat
Jesus.
and he hands you that hat full of shit. It's
He
like,
has
hey,
a hat.
look, it's kind of sparkly. I had some corn.
All
Dig
right.
through there.
I don't know why. Okay, when Game Pass came out, right? Obviously, that's where Microsoft spent their money. It's very clear they've gotten some phenomenal titles from Gold. Or I'm sorry, from Game Pass every month. There's constantly really good titles coming out. You know, all their first party games, which really pays for itself now, including Bethesda. All of their old games, Sea of Thieves, Halo, all the Halo, Master Chief, you name it. Really, anything that's put Microsoft on the map. Curiously enough, Forza isn't entirely on there. I'm not really sure what that's about, but for the most part, a majority of the games are great, and there's some good ones that rotate in and out. I have always said, and I've said this on a lot of independent videos I've done, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on our show here together. I feel like they've really cannibalized Gold in favor of Game Pass. And all those big hit, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting blank for free, has really gone to the Game Pass world. I don't see that happening with Gold.
I would totally agree. I don't know why. I don't really know what function Gold serves because the price between Gold and Game Pass isn't that big that I'm aware of. I don't, the price discrepancy or difference. What is it, like an extra $5 or $10 a month?
Yeah, and that debacle where they raised the price and lowered the price clearly shows you where their emphasis is. They want you to get Game Pass because it's obviously a cash cow for them. I think they have, I want to say 15 million active subscribers now, which just quick napkin math is a lot of money. So
Dude, they,
they're making some
they just
cake.
they just spent $8 billion on a fancy new toy for you to play with. So
That's
yeah,
right.
that price is going up, buddy.
So I guess the reason I bring this up now, my stance has been for a long time. I think games with Gold needs to go away. And if that means lowering the price of Gold, I'm all for it. If they say, you know what, we kind of subsidized that, we took that cost and spread it out and we're able to get you these low tier games. But if you don't want the games and you just want the online service only, we'll give you, I don't know, even if it was like $1 credit annually, I would still do it because to me the Gold games are just not so hot. Contrast that, in my opinion, and again, I'm a Sony pony, so take it, but by the way, with Sea of Thieves pictures in the background, so keep that in mind, and a Halo shirt. But I'm still a Sony pony, and this month is phenomenal. We got Destruction All Stars, we got Control Ultimate Edition, and Concrete Genie. And I'm reading the forums and everybody's really excited. Wow, this is so cool. I've always wanted to play Control. I fall in that camp. People don't know what Concrete Genie is. You'll love it. And Destruction All Stars is going to be a fun game. Whether it's a throwaway game, who cares? It's fun. Everyone will be playing it for a couple weeks. I don't even remember what the games for Gold are, and I'm sure they're really bad. What do you think about all that? I guess we'll start there.
I agree with your assessment that games with Gold needs to go away, and whether there's like some sort of credit back system or whatever, that like the idea and the premise of it was great. Like they had a great idea, and that was cool, and it was a way to get people to subscribe to Xbox Gold and use their online services and help offset the cost of their data. But
Yeah.
I think that that's all it really ever was, and it wasn't meant, like the games were never meant to be all that special. Like I can remember maybe 2 or 3 times in the many years that I've had it, because I've had games with Gold since it came out, because I've had Xbox Live Gold for 12 years.
Do you have the card? Did you ever get the card in the mail, like the credit card? Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's somewhere.
If you can find it, I need to see it.
Okay, I will try to find it. It's either at my mom's house or it's in the basement.
Because you found that really cool stash of stuff from your mom's, like your old Nintendo and your Super Nintendo and...
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for you to ship that stuff down. I'm ready to take it.
Bro,
Bro,
I'm never getting rid of that stuff. I've literally carried it through my entire life.
would you want it to sit in your mom's boring basement or in my cool game room?
Well, it's gonna sit in my cool game room, dude. My day one,
Oh,
like
you're taking that
original,
Patriot sticker down?
my original PlayStation is in that box, dude, from like 1995 or 1996,
Sorry, I
whenever
can't hurry you over the NFC champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What were you saying?
I rooted for the Buccaneers to win.
I was making fun of the Patriots the whole time. I said
I,
that.
I don't care. I don't
Oh,
care.
you're insulting me again. Be gone.
Dude, I totally just breeze over your insults now. It's like they don't
I'll drink
even
to that,
register.
God damn it. All right. Um, yeah, so, not be on a tangent with your mom's basement or with the Nintendo you're going to send me. Hi, Mom. But what I was going to say was the truth is, I think they really need to take a hard look at what the hell's going on because these games are laughable. There are tweets that come out, they don't get any traction. No one's talking about them. Poor Major Nelson, he tees off every month. And he's like, hey, everyone, games with gold. And everyone's like, hey, everybody, fuck you, because these games are shit. So to me, I think it's time. I think it's time to retire it. Double down on Game Pass. Clearly, that's what they want us to do. That's what this whole thing was all about. And not that we're so smart. We know it. We knew the day it came out that's what they wanted. Um, I think they just need to stop that. And if it means one cooler game annually on Game Pass that was a little too expensive to get before, I say it's worth it.
100%. Even if we don't get an extra game, just stop giving us these shit games that no one's going to download and wasting your money, Microsoft.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's really where the frustration comes in. Is this service has been going on for a long time. I always wondered if it was meant to stay as long as it did. I kind of feel like it almost ran its course, and I say that because we really look at how long it's been going on, and the quality of the games has gotten worse. It seemed like a knee-jerk reaction when Phil Spencer took over, like, "Hey, PlayStation's doing hip, cool things. We're gonna do hip, cool things." But as time's gone on, it just seems to have lost its way, and they're just not fun games. So yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Well, if nothing else, it got people kind of interested in the idea of games without a retail location. I would say it really introduced people into
That's true.
downloading games,
That's true.
and that helps Microsoft in the long run because now they don't have to pay for physical discs and
Yeah,
distribution and logistics and all that
true.
shit. If they can cut that whole section of it out, man, they make so much more fucking money on their games. It's not even funny.
I agree with you, and maybe that was it was also a way to warm people up to digital only and point people to the store because you had to download them from the store. So you might be right. There's probably some deeper thought that went into it. It seems that as time has gone on, the excitement. If you gave somebody a piece of paper and said, why do you pay for gold? I think games for gold, if it showed up on that list, would be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously you have the online play, great, all this stuff, but I just feel like that part of the service is just run its course.
Yeah.
Sticking with Xbox, sir, the Medium is very, very, very shortly coming out. This is one of the first Xbox games rebranded under Xbox Game Studios. It's been getting a lot of hype. It was supposed to be an Xbox launch title. Unfortunately, it didn't make the cut. As we know, it didn't come out at launch. And we're starting to get some gameplay footage of it now, some early impressions. I don't know when the review embargo quite lifts. It's not quite yet. But I will say I was incredibly surprised to see that in the the Xbox Series S, it runs at a whopping 640p. Now, to put that into perspective,
P
that's
means
shit.
potato.
Piece for potato. Now, the game does render certain scenes side by side where you're playing in this light world and in this dark spirit world, and it's rendering the same game twice. Think of like just traditional split screen, something we've had for zillions of years. Unfortunately, it seems like the Series S is coming up significantly shorter. Um,
Really?
Yeah, and I guess my point or my question to you is kind of one and the same is, when is Microsoft going to get the hint? Obviously, this is their own game. This is a Microsoft developed game under their own network. It might not be Microsoft themselves. It might be one of their umbrella companies, but you know what I mean. Like they own this. It's one of the many games under their network of gaming companies that they've acquired over the years. If they can't even pull performance out of this thing, when are we going to agree or accept, or when is the popular opinion that the Series S is junk? When is that finally going to set in for people? Because it still seems like people are like, it's a great value. And I'm saying 640p, bro, is not a great value. I don't care what it costs.
It's not. Not for $300. It's fucking not. I don't know. I feel like this is the phone call that Phil Spencer got. What do you mean 640p on the S? Just call who's the CEO of the developer? Give me his name. Phil Spencer? Fuck. like it's our console, it's our game, and we can't make it work. I don't know what to say about that.
It's unacceptable. Really, I mean, when the Xbox came out, there was a big push. I'm talking about the Xbox One, not the Xbox Series, whatever.
2013 Day One Edition.
Thank you. That one versus PlayStation 4. There was a lot of discussion over performance, and it was always showing output like, well, the PlayStation can do 1080p, this, that. And I remember seeing a lot of these reviews of like Titanfall, it's only like 864p, and Halo 5 is like 720p, and all these like low numbers, and PlayStation consistently hitting 1080. And I was like, wow. And people are like, come on, stop. It's not that important. Graphics aren't that important. Clearly, I would agree with that to some extent because I want your Nintendo, and those graphics suck. But the point is, over the years, Microsoft rebranding themselves as, we are the most powerful console. I still have the shirt from when I went to E3 a couple years ago when they unveiled the Xbox One X, the most powerful console in the world. And over the years, yes, the performance seems to be slightly better, but the reality is it seems to be waning off again, honestly. And this is just another indication that Microsoft's real tentpole idea, we're the best place to play, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think if anybody's really seriously investing in the medium, they're going to play it on PC because the Series S just can't handle it. The X does better, but the S at 6, dude, we're in 2021. Like, that is unacceptable.
No, just to be clear, Phil Spencer, which, I mean...
From one Phil to another. I need to make a set... We need to make from Phil to Phil. I need to make that template next week. I won't, but I should.
Okay.
Carry on.
I'm so down for that. That's fine. I don't remember what I was going to say.
About 640p? Phil Spencer.
Oh, yes. I'm sure Microsoft, not Phil Spencer specifically, because he's strictly Xbox, but I'm sure Microsoft isn't necessarily upset about this. But like, the number one place to play video games is PC, and I can say that as a non-PC gamer. You have the ability to customize your rig to be whatever you want it to be within your budget. You have basically unlimited options to make it as powerful as you want. It can be so powerful that there's no game that will ever put it to its limits ever, maybe. And you have complete control over the process. You have point and click for first person shooters. It's just, as far as anyone can tell, the place to play video games, if you really want to get the most out of a game and truly, truly enjoy it, is the PC. Other than that, if you're willing to make some sacrifices, then you have to go play on a console and you have to figure out where you want to be. And unfortunately, as you've illustrated, the place to play it is not on Xbox Series S. And I think that you said that, and I kind of didn't. I don't know if I speculated with you, but you definitely mentioned when you looked at the specs that you were highly suspicious of this console before it even launched. And I think that you should feel very validated in those concerns.
Actually.
But
go ahead.
you have to make the choice. If you're not going to game on a PC, you have to make the choice between if you're like going to play on the Switch for some reason, even though it's only got 4 games, or you can play on Xbox or PlayStation. And right now, PlayStation is very handily winning that battle.
Do you think, I mean, as the comparisons do come out, and yes, the PlayStation is objectively slower or weaker than the Xbox when you talk about sheer processing power. However, I think Resident Evil Maiden, the exclusive demo we get there, I think Demon Souls, I think Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the upcoming Ratchet and Clank. I think a lot of that kind of the games really trump that. And we've talked a lot about games versus hardware before. But how much do you think the DualSense controller plays into all of that, particularly with the fact that, and I'm reading here in your notes, and I do agree with you. I think that is probably the most revolutionary thing we have seen since the launch of all these consoles in the last couple, this last generation, is the DualSense.
I 100% agree with you. And you know what? I don't have any experience with the Series X, and I'm sure that once I do, once that special edition comes out, that I'll
That
see
Halo
the
edition.
yeah. Once that comes out, now pull the rest off. Once that comes out and I have some experience with it, I can make some more fair comments. But
Right.
the DualSense controller is just it's in its own weight class. It's like asking Conor McGregor to fight John Bones Jones, and just I mean, he can't even fight guys in his own weight class. So, I mean, he would step into the ring and just get absolutely smashed. It's just, it wouldn't even be a fair fight. And that controller is so revolutionary. It feels so good in your hands. It's the perfect size. It's the perfect weight. It functions perfectly. It just, I don't know. It's,
Yeah.
from my notes that I wanted that to be a whole discussion topic. So I don't know if we're going to dive into that and have
Talk
that
about it. Yeah,
discussion.
no, I brought that up because I really think, looking at really talking about, here we are again, the console wars, they're over, they're not, whatever. Microsoft doesn't really reveal numbers on console sales anymore. What they do is they give a global gaming division update. And shocker, on a launch cycle, their gaming division went up. Of course it did. Of course people are buying into Game Pass. Of course people are, playing their games and buying the new hardware, whether they really want it or not. It's the hot new thing to do, so people are going to jump on the bandwagon. This is a great time to be a gamer. But, when the smoke clears and we talk about console wars again and we're back in the trenches, which we're kind of getting there now, the hype is over. People who wanted a console, for the most part, are able to get them. I see them popping up a lot more frequently. So now it's really just comparing, okay, everyone has a console now. You have your console of choice, or both, or three, I guess, if you want to include PC. Yeah, looking forward, like, what do we have to look forward to? And it's like, okay, I just mentioned that we've got that Xbox game, The Medium, coming out, which, honestly, I mean, if it's not running very well, how great is it going to be? We're still waiting for Halo news. That's been kind of dragging their feet. And meanwhile, it's like, well, we don't have a ton of new stuff on PlayStation, but that DualSense controller is pretty badass, and you just know that more stuff is coming for that. And the stuff you already have is freaking awesome. Like Call of Duty is so good with that controller.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, PlayStation may technically be on paper less powerful than Xbox Series S. However, 3D audio is awesome. Whether or not it's a gimmick or whatever, I think it's really cool. And I believe truly in my heart that it added to the experience of the games in which I used it. It definitely added to the immersion and my enjoyment. The DualSense controller is just like I don't know who like spearheaded that thing, but get that man or woman a raise, a significant raise, because that thing is awesome. And you know what? The PlayStation is running really well. So I know that it may not be the most powerful, but it's definitely the best experience I've ever had with a console ever.
I wish it didn't crash as much as it does. I was playing Call of Duty today, and it crashed again today. I'm sure I got my rewards. I checked the Call of Duty app, and they were there. But I don't know if I would say it's the best I've ever seen. I like where they're going. I think the OS needs an overhaul. But despite that frustration, I think people are willing to put up with the crap of no rest mode, external hard drives, maybe they work, maybe they don't, blah, 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 blah. I feel like people are willing to put up with that because I think the promise rather, of what you're going to get down the road is just so much greater on the PlayStation offering than on the Xbox offering. And yet another game coming out from Xbox that doesn't seem like it's going to deliver. I could be wrong. I haven't played it yet, and I will eat my headband if it turned out to be wrong. But it doesn't seem like it's going to deliver, and it's just here we go again. We're talking about this again. We've been doing the show for over a year. This is the same topic we had today as we did on day one, and it's not getting better. It's still not getting better.
No, I agree. I agree. You know, and now that, as you said, now that the dust has settled and the hype is gone, now these consoles have to rely on the strength of the games that get released. And I think that Xbox falls a little short there. I mean, we'll see once we know what the heck's going to happen with Bethesda moving forward for the ones that aren't already confirmed to be timed exclusives. But it looks like you have something you want to say.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was on NeoGAF, the #1 source for topics of this very show. And 1 ear on the conference call, one hand on the keyboard, I don't know, looking up stuff. And there is reports that Elder Scrolls V, which I talked about last week with the Skyrim 60 frame per second mod, now available on the PlayStation 5, actually runs better than the Series X variant, which I found hysterical. Like, Microsoft can't even get their own shit on their own hardware to run as well as some guy who made this backward ass mod. You turn it on, you delete it, you stand on your head, you do the hokey pokey, and 60 frames a second. And it's still better than what Xbox is pulling out. I don't get this, Phil. I don't get this. This is their own house. Bethesda now green brand. I love the picture of the Pip-Boy wearing the green Xbox garb instead of the blue jumpsuit. I'll never forget that image of him like with the thumbs up. It's like Microsoft owns Bethesda. Like, you have to figure out your own games on your own hardware. That is totally unacceptable. And yet here we are. Yet another example, and I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what to do. How do we fix this?
If Phil Spencer were in your room right now, he'd just come up to you and be like, shh, Game Pass.
He would say, hey man, nice smoking jacket. I'd say, I know.
Yeah, nice boxing outfit. He would say, hey, hush.
Look at
hush.
those sleeves. Look at this. It's got the rope. I'll show you the rope. It's got the rope.
Yeah, it's a boxing jacket.
So here, I guess, is what I'm saying. You know, I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. They don't. And I'm agitated by it. And I want them to be better. The partnerships they've made, some of them have, gotten some pretty good fruit. Obviously, Game Pass, I think, is hit and miss at times. I mean, there's some good games that are currently on there now, but it's not always good. I guess, and even the partnerships they make, like Bethesda, I think that's a phenomenal, that's not really a partnership per se, you just bought them. But, one of the big partnerships they made, which unfortunately for them, was CyberPunk. and you, young man, somewhere to your left or right, I don't know the current orientation of that room you're in, there is a CyberPunk Xbox One sitting there. And probably CyberPunk is not being played. Obviously, you're talking to me right now. But I don't think CyberPunk's in your current rotation. I don't think it's in really anybody's current rotation.
Did you drop it too?
I encountered my first. This is what I wanted to bring up because there's a couple similar stories. I want to group them together. Number one, I want to talk to you, show note here, which I absolutely agree with, about the pre-order culture we have. But before I get to that, my experience with CyberPunk, I did update the game with the latest patch because they said it would be better. I got it on PC and I encountered my first game-breaking bug, unable to proceed unless I go in and start getting cute and adding in assets and changing stuff. And I said, not worth it, and I peaced out. I will be back. I logged over 100 hours in Fallout 76, so I am a glutton for punishment. When they fix it, I will be back. But I have now finally encountered something that made me personally stop and say, you know what? This is getting frustrating. I'm sick of looting items that vanish. I am sick of cars teleporting and Jackie's gun vanishing and him doing the finger guns, and it's not right. It needs to stop. So I have taken a break from Cyberpunk. So I don't know if that means you're right and you win something. Do you win an award? I don't know, but like I I did finally take a break. I cannot defend that game even on PC anymore, and even dressed as ridiculous as I am, even I have limits.
Like, a big problem, actually.
Actually, so that's part one. Part two is, we have this culture, and again, this isn't really Microsoft's fault. They jumped on they probably threw them a ton of money. They jumped on Cyberpunk, clearly coming hot off the heels of The Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red can do no wrong, blah, blah, blah. Microsoft jumped on board with that. And obviously, the little egg in their face. That's not Microsoft's fault. No one's blaming them. I'm definitely not. But I think a lot of it had to do with this nonsensical pre-order culture that we are still living in the midst of. So I guess I'll turn it over to you for a minute, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I I couldn't agree more. We have to stop. We have to stop pre-ordering games. I mean, we really, really, really do.
Yeah.
Let's just stop doing that. Let's stop paying for something that's still like late in its production cycle, that is not coming out for months or a year in some situations. Like, that's all you're doing. You're agreeing upfront to pay for a game, and they bait you in with like some stupid little sticker or like
I know.
some content pack or
Steelbooks.
yeah, steelbooks. Oh my God, dude,
Guilty.
I'm such a sucker for steelbooks. I collect steelbooks, but I can't like I can't do these pre-orders anymore. I just can't. And
Agreed.
when they announced the Xbox Series X limited edition for pre-order, I'm gonna
Woo!
pre-order it. I'm gonna pre-order it, but that's just because if I don't, I won't get one. But in a situation like the
Right.
yearly Assassin's Creed that Ubisoft shits out, I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm just not. Like, pre-order your copy and get a bear that follows you around. It doesn't do anything, but it's cool. I just give us the bear. If you've already programmed it in and it's hidden behind a paywall, just give us the bear. You stupid, selfish piece of shit game developer.
Yeah, it's gotten bad because it really I am very critical of game journalism in general, and I've been that way. I've been very vocal about that in my brief stint as a YouTuber. I am not trusting or trustworthy at all of game journalism. I've seen it firsthand. I've been to the press conferences. I've seen the way they act. I feel like pre-order culture somehow links back to them. This hype up moment, you don't want to miss out. You're going to want this DLC mission. You're going to want whatever. You're going to want this steelbook. You're going to want this sticker. You're going to want to get whatever. And, the real reason pre-order started was because at the time we were having a hard time getting games at launch, and this was a way to guarantee it. I have never been to a Best Buy in over a year. But prior to that, I haven't been anywhere in a year. But prior to that, Phil, when I went into a store, they always had everything I wanted. Never once they go, hey, you want Halo 5? It's sold out. Sorry. You're just going to have to wait. I mean, you could still download it digitally, but like, sorry, it's gone. The last one left. We might get more in a couple months, maybe, but you're going to have to miss out. I've never had that happen. So this hype, this buildup of hype, these awards that they give, Best of Show, Game of the Year, the DICE Awards, the E3 Awards, everybody gets to put their sticker on it. Yeah, all these conferences, everybody goes and they put their sticker on the wall, and you see like, look, we won over 200 awards. Titanfall won over 600 awards at the at E3 this year, and it's like, great. And then the game comes out, and it's like, it doesn't have single player. I don't know if I want to play it. Bye. So where'd all that hype go? Well, it wasn't our hype to begin with. It was a journalism hype. And we're stuck footing the bill for a crappy sub-product game like CyberPunk. And people are afraid of missing out. They want that mission. They want that bonus item. And it's frustrating. I
Yeah.
think it's got to stop.
I think game makers capitalize on that fear of missing out a lot. And they also capitalize on like the Instagram and Facebook, like the Facebook FaceBrag, I guess I should call it. I should go full 60-year-old man and just call it FaceBrag or
Face
brag
brag.
or whatever they call it. Like, oh, I got my launch edition with special blah 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 fucking blah. I don't know, dude.
But I got it.
Yeah, if it's the premium edition, I have it, damn it.
I
Like
need it.
those
Yeah.
those awesome, like I bought the big whatever for Red Dead Redemption 2, and it came with like all this like little
Was there a
figurines.
belt buckle in that one?
Yeah,
Do
and
you
a
have the
belt
belt
buckle
buckle?
and a belt buckle and
Did you ever
all
wear
this
it?
other. No, no, you know why? Because I have a normal belt that already has a fucking belt buckle on it,
But not a
okay?
Red Dead, not a Arthur Morgan.
Well, I'm not Wyatt Earp, so fun fact about me, I used to collect fancy belt buckles and I no longer do.
Did you give them away?
No, I have them all still.
I think I see a show topic. Go ahead. Listen, carry on.
Oh man, it's just all this stupid tchotchke that it comes with. It's
Yeah.
just a come on, man. You don't use any of this stuff. Like I've got that great like lithograph map or whatever from Red Dead Redemption 2. Guess what? It's still folded up in the game case. That's where it is. I've
It's
never taken it out.
where it belongs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, as and I kind of hoped that with E3 decentralizing last year, which I think turned out to be a colossal failure, but with E3 really decentralizing and everybody being able to do, not really be able to do, but it's accepted now that you do live streams and you do, more online type of stuff where that limited press access is really kind of like faded away. I think as you start to see that like evolve more as time goes on, I think a lot of the exclusivity that journalists get, I think a lot of their word of like, hey, we saw this game and this is what we think. You can't see it, but we saw it and here's our opinion of it. I think that starts to fade away. So in a sense, I'm grateful we've decentralized things and we've gone more towards this. Clearly, it didn't work with CyberPunk because they pulled the wool over just about everybody's eyes prior to launch, even though that was a very, very open development for a long time with tons of developer blogs and YouTube videos and behind, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And I wonder if, as people start to become more aware of this and really Cyberpunk, I wonder if people are like, you know what, I got bamboozled by a company I really trusted. I really did trust CD Projekt Red. I love The Witcher 3. I think this is going to be a phenomenal experience. I'm going to buy with confidence. I wonder how many people now are like, okay, if the guys who made Witcher let me down, which, that's not my opinion, but if they let me down, no, forget it. I'll be set. And they're probably like, oh crap. Now I'm stuck with this crap game that you can't even buy anymore. They delisted it. So maybe this is
Still,
the beginning. Maybe we'll see. Maybe this will stop. Maybe pre-order cultures. Maybe Cyberpunk killed it. We'll have to
no.
see. Maybe it did.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope. It's going to keep going on and on and on forever until until parents stop buying their 12-year-old kids rated M games. That's when we'll see a stop to it.
I mean, there is a convenience thing about having a chip and getting it the day it comes out. I'm to the point now where I have so many games, so many backlogs of things I'm still chipping away at that are old. I'm playing Monster Hunter World again. It came out in 2017. I have my 3DS. I'm playing Bravely Default from 2011. Like, I've got games to play. So, if the new game comes out tomorrow, yeah, there's going to be that FOMO, I think. And I did pre-order a lot of stuff when PlayStation came out, but really, I think that was a quantity thing at the time. But I don't see myself doing that. A lot of games I pre-ordered are still in the original wrapping, like Immortals Phoenix Rising, and I haven't opened it yet, and it's already on sale. It's half price, and I still haven't touched mine yet. So yeah, I think me personally, I think I could be okay with not pre-ordering. I think I could show enough restraint and say, you know what, I might be but one person, but I'm gonna stick to my moral compass wherever that faces and say I'm not doing this anymore.
Are we going to right now pledge on this show that absent of consoles and other things that we know will sell out and won't be restocked, are we going to pledge right now no more pre-orders for either of us?
I will do that. I will pledge in 2021 I will not pre-order anything else.
Done. Signed, sealed, throw it in the garbage.
Okay, can we restart the show now? You didn't really mean that. I looked her in the eye and I said, did you? Yeah, I said it. Yeah, sure you did, champ. Um, I see a note in here from one Filbert McCracken who says he wants a remake of 2003's Big Game Hunter.
Yes.
Is that the one with the rifle with the arcade where you shoot the deer? Is that what Big Game Hunter is, or am I way off base?
You're way off base, dude. This is a PS2 game.
This isn't the arcade game where
No,
you have
it's a PS2 game where you're in the woods hunting like deer and stuff.
first
It was
person or
awesome.
third person?
First person, I believe.
And how's that different than the static arcade machine where you have the big plastic gun? I think that one was called Big Buck Hunter, based on my very limited YouTube searching.
Because you get to walk around the whole woods and drive vehicles and stuff.
Okay, I'm looking at some gameplay of it now.
Just pixely and potatoey.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not picking on it for that. It reminds me a lot of Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 5, minus the explosive, nonsensical NPCs and the testy festy. So all you're doing is hunting animals, and I see you have blood. Looks like you're following a blood trail. You have a scope with bullets. Looks like this guy's using a .270 hollow point, and you're walking around collecting deers and the map. Okay, I could see this being fun. What? Okay, I know you hunt a lot, so this would make sense that this would be something you would be interested in. What made you think of this of all the remakes to make? Because I'm looking at your list now. You have Big Game Hunter, Simpsons Hit and Run, which I agree with. And then Gex. Defend that.
Gex was awesome. I loved playing Gex.
What did you like about it? I need to look this. I remember Gex. I remember Gex. Oh, it looks so cringy, dude. Enter the gecko. I know the times are different. Listen, I get it.
Bro, I was a little kid when I played that game. I liked it.
I forget you're like 14 years old. That's right. This looks like my first platformer. You just run around and you collect these golden... What are these, like bugs or something? You're collecting some kind of like...
Bro, I don't remember exactly what you do. I haven't played it in like 20 years. Okay?
But you just know you liked it.
Yes, I remember liking it.
I just want you to defend it. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I just want to hear what you think about it.
Oh, I thought it was an interesting concept. It was a fun platformer. I thought it was funny and silly and cute. It just appealed to me at the time. It's like now thinking back of like I can actually almost remember the soundtrack and like the powdery like white snow that you're running through. It's very little kiddish, and I get that, but I thought it was cool. And you failed to mention that I put Goldeneye on there.
I was saving the only one that mattered for last. But real quick, before we jump to Goldeneye, I want to ask you, did you play Super Lucky's Tale?
No.
So that came out 2 years ago. That was an Xbox game. It's on Game Pass. It's by an Xbox-owned studio, all that great stuff. It's like a little kid's platforming game. So if you like Gex, you might like Super Lucky's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could have your little tendies. You might have a little sleepover. Maybe, who knows? Maybe you could stay up till 10 o'clock one night. I don't know.
Yeah, you can bring your bathrobe with you.
You'd like that too much.
Don't tie the fun.
The one game on your list that I will agree to is one of the best games, a timeless game, that being GoldenEye, of course. Do you think that... Okay, let me ask you this. When you say you want them to make a PlayStation 5 version, are you okay with GoldenEye's static shooting, or do you want it to be like a twin-stick shooter a la like Call of Duty? Because remember GoldenEye, you had to stop to aim. You had an aim button. You stopped because you only had one analog stick. The analog stick was moving or shooting, not both.
That's right.
I think you could strafe and shoot, but it was only directly left or right.
Yeah. Well, I got good at strafing and shooting. Just a lot of... You ever see, like, you're smart, you slide and jump around, and you ever notice my gameplay style? I just kind of move left or right and hope for the...
Like an Egyptian. Yeah.
I feel like the heart and soul of that game should stay there, and like what made that game fun should be there, but then yes, it should be brought into a sense of modernity.
What made that game fun?
getting the golden gun and fucking wrecking people.
My favorite thing to do, and when I realized I was definitely a sadistic person, was in the second level. The first level was Dam. The second level, I believe, was called Laboratory, where you start and you have to walk through the air vent. You shoot the guy in the toilet. You work your way through. That was the level where you meet the infamous Dr. Doak, who opens the door for you. That's when, I think it was 006. I don't even remember the guy's name. The guy turns on you at the end of the mission, and it's this big explosion. There's a cheat code, of course, to get unlimited ammo. The mines that you would throw on the wall and detonate with your watch. You could throw so many of them, they actually started to stick out of the wall. Like, they would stack on top of each other. So if you were like walking by, I mean, you clip through it in the game, but like if you figured out how to do this, like you'd hit your head like limbo, like you'd like fall over. I would put 50 of those mines in a row, and I would go in and I'd aim my gun up in the air, and I'd shoot my gun, and all the scientists would scream and run for the exit. And as they ran for the exit, I already had it laced with as many mines as you could have. I want to say it was 20 before they started to reset. And I would detonate it, and the game would drop to like 1 frame an hour. And you would just hear this, and in slow motion, they would just fade into this field of red fire. And I would laugh. And I would do this for hours. For hours, I would laugh at Dr. Doak. I would find clever ways to murder this guy. I would try to launch him up in the air with mines and see how many mines I could put underneath, because there was that metal stairwell. I put the mines underneath, so I'd try to blow him over the lip of the rail. That's what I want. Can you give me a Dr. Doak murder simulator, please? Forget the rest of the game. I don't remember what happened after the laboratory level. That was some fun shit. And you know I'm right. I mean, maybe it was me with Dr. Doak. You did something repeatedly in that game, and you screwed, whether it's Donkey Kong mode and paintball guns, like you definitely did something that was definitely probably not good.
Dude, Conker's Bad Fur Day needs a remake too, now that I think of it.
Okay, that one I would agree with. Gex.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
You said that you liked the Simpsons one too.
Simpsons Hit and Run, I think that's a good one. I think that game suffered from lack of diversity. Obviously, playing in the Simpsons universe was cool, but looking
Oh, it
at...
had a poo.
What?
It had a poo.
I mean, it was fun. I got it. But it just didn't have a lot to do. Dummy. I got it. Phil, everyone.
They ripped that game off to make Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was just like, you look at how much stuff other games had around the time, and you look at that, and it was like, oh, it was cool because of The Simpsons, which The Simpsons I don't think are cool anymore. Maybe they are, I don't know. I'm not cool because I guess I don't like them. But, yeah, you know, I think it could use a fresh coat of paint. I think that would be a fun game. I think if you brought back meaningful characters and you had a story that was sort of serious, I think it might work. Okay. I'm not talking like a ballad. I'm not talking like the Odyssey or anything, but I'm just like, it'd be nice to, because the story, I don't really remember it entirely, but it was very like, we're going to do a cameo of every single character in the game, and it's not going to make any sense. You're going to drive around in your car and collect stupid collectibles, because that's really all the games were back then.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Oh, agreed. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. For me, my nostalgia definitely still rooted very firmly in Nintendo. I miss the old 2D side-scroller games, the beat-em-ups, the Double Dragon, not Battletoads. God, no more Battletoads. Final Fight. I love Final Fight. It's like one of my favorite games ever. Not even beat-em-ups, even like Castlevania, Metroid. Like, I know that it's the hot thing to do is to make pixel games. I mean, like, pretty much every game that comes out now is like a side-scrolling pixel game, it seems like. And they think they're being edgy. It's like, hey, we're giving you a retro game. It's like, we're tired of that. I would like to see those products brought into, not necessarily a 3D space, but I would love to see a modern Metroid-type game. Kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest, maybe. That's not so depressing. And, you know, really give it a nice background. Keep the original soundtrack or very close to it, the original idea. But, make it look pretty, make it run well, make it run at 60 frames a second, give us HDR, give us better draw distance, whatever. Well, I guess the side scrolling, you don't need draw distance, but that's what I miss. I feel like we've tried too hard to go back in time, but there is something to be said about those games brought to present day, not just pixel art, but, really take your thought and make it meaningful art. I think that would be fun. I miss that.
I agree. That's what the next Nintendo console should be. It's just a game that runs old games, but like uppresses them.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switcher, because they're gonna switch it to the next generation. Yeah, I mean, I don't. And there's probably other good games. I'm thinking like even Diddy Kong Racing. That was such a fun game because it had an airplane, you had the hover boat thing. It had an open world to it, but it was racing with like Mario Kart. It was fun. It's really unplayable today, though. The frame rate is so bad. The draw distance is horrible. Like, that is a great idea. Take that idea and run with it. We don't need a retro pixel art 2D. Like, we've done that. We're past that. We don't need any more of that. Let's move on to, take those concepts and bring them to the future.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to be. Okay. Well, I'm looking at your notes. I want to make sure I covered everything because you had some good notes this week. I got it. I've been giving you flack the last few weeks about notes, and here you go, busting out pretty good notes. I'm proud of you.
Because, dude, the gaming subreddit is just memes. There's no news there.
It's hard to find
stuff. There's no
news. Well, we are in that weird lull where we're waiting. We're too early for E3 leaks, if E3 even does come back. We're too early for that. We're still kind of in the recovery period from console launch. So there's really not a lot going on. This is where your sleeper hit games are going to come out. This is where games like Monster Hunter World, Dying Light 2, well, the original Dying Light at the time, Dead Rising. That's when these games, I know I mentioned a lot of Capcom games here, but that's when these games come out. Like February and March is a perfect window for sleeper hit games where people are kind of done with what they bought. We haven't really seen anything since then, and we're ready for stuff. And I think, honestly, kind of bringing it back full circle, I think that's where the medium is going to do best. Release the medium now for Xbox. Do it now. It's not going to be able to compete with the big PlayStation games. It's not going to be able to compete with Halo Infinite. So bring it out now when there's really nothing else going on and salvage what you can out of a game like that and be grateful a couple people bought it because it's not going to be a smash hit. It's going to be forgotten, but this is a great time for it to be forgotten.
Gotcha.
Ooh. Pat looked inquisitive. He was like, oh, man.
Yeah, DoorDash texted me, my food's here.
Well, it's a good time to end the show. Are you ready, sir?
I am. So much like Jim should take that stupid jacket off because he's never smoked anything in his life, and he never, ever will, war also never changes. Thanks, guys.